Have you ever stopped to ask yourself how much of your suffering actually comes from reality? And how much of it is created by your own mind? Think about it. The insults you replay in your head, the fears that never happen, the doubts that paralyze you, most of them don't exist outside of your thoughts. Yet they control you. They dictate your mood, your confidence, even your decisions. This is the brutal truth. Most people are not masters of their minds. They are prisoners, locked in a cage built by their own interpretations, beliefs, and unchecked emotions. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. They knew that events themselves are neutral. It's our judgment of them that causes pain. A storm is just a storm. An insult is just words. A failure is just an outcome. But the moment you label it as unbearable, humiliating, or permanent, you hand over your power. Your mind is the battlefield where strength is built or destroyed. Every day you face countless things you cannot control, other people's opinions, unexpected setbacks, the chaos of the world. And yet, the average person wastes most of their energy fighting those very things, hoping reality will bend to their wishes. It never does. That's why the Stoics drew a clear line on one side, the things within your control, your thoughts, your choices, your actions. On the other, everything else. The harsh truth is that until you master this distinction, your mind will remain your enemy. You will exhaust yourself trying to control what was never yours, while neglecting the only thing you truly own, your response. And here's where the shift begins. Imagine how much lighter your life would feel if you stopped carrying the weight of what doesn't belong to you. Imagine the energy you'd reclaim if you stopped replaying what they said, what they did, what might happen. Freedom doesn't come from changing the world. It comes from changing how you meet the world. That is mental sovereignty. That is true power. When you understand that no one can touch your inner freedom unless you hand it to them, you become unshakable. But the mind is a tricky adversary. It whispers lies, that you are not enough, that you are weak, that the future will crush you. And the more you believe those lies, the deeper the chains wrap around you. The Stoics train themselves daily to silence these illusions. They practice negative visualization, reminding themselves that hardships are inevitable, so they would not be broken when they arrived. They reminded themselves that insults could not wound them unless they agreed to feel wounded. They treated their minds like muscles, training them with discipline, exposing them to difficulty, and stripping away every false belief. That is why they could stand calm in storms that would drown ordinary people. You have that same potential. You can build a mind that doesn't shatter under pressure, that doesn't crumble under criticism, that doesn't collapse under fear. But you must be willing to face the harsh truth. Your mind will not strengthen itself. If you don't command it, it will command you. If you don't feed it with discipline, it will feed on doubt. If you don't guard it, it will become a playground for chaos. And the cost of neglecting this is not small. It is your peace, your progress, your future. Every great transformation begins in the unseen space of thought, because thought shapes perception, perception shapes action, and action shapes destiny. If you can control what happens in your mind, nothing outside of you can break you. That's why the first step in rebuilding yourself is not changing your body, not fixing your circumstances, not even repairing your relationships. It is reclaiming command over your inner world. When you own your thoughts, you own your life. So ask yourself right now, are you in charge of your mind, or is your mind in charge of you? Do you rise each morning with clarity, or do you wake up already battling the noise of worry, resentment, and distraction? Do you choose your responses, or do you react like a puppet pulled by emotions? This is the mirror the Stoics held up to humanity. It is not a gentle mirror. It shows you the chains you've placed on yourself. But in that harsh reflection lies hope, because chains you put on are chains you can break. The reward for mastering your mind is not just calm. It is not just resilience. It is the ability to walk through chaos untouched, to endure loss without losing yourself, to face fear with unshaken resolve. It is freedom from the slavery of thoughts that once crushed you. And when you reach that level, nothing outside of you can make you a victim again. That is the freedom the Stoics live for. That is the freedom you can claim starting now. Would you like me to continue by writing the second section in the same deep and motivational style, around 700 to 900 words? Once the mind is disciplined, the body must follow. Because no matter how sharp your thoughts become, if your body is soft, your spirit will eventually bend. The Stoics knew this with unshakable certainty. Weakness in the body infects the soul. Comfort, ease, and indulgence are seductive traps They promise relief, but in truth, they steal your strength. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you are training yourself to surrender. Every time you avoid discomfort, you are teaching your body and mind that weakness is acceptable. That is the quiet poison of modern living. People are surrounded by luxuries, but starving in discipline. The harsh reality is this: a body untested cannot endure. When pain arrives, when hunger strikes, when hardship knocks, the untrained body collapses, and with it collapses the will. This is why the Stoics deliberately sought voluntary discomfort. They fasted when food was abundant. They walked in the cold without complaint. They slept on hard surfaces while wealth could afford them comfort. They did not do this because they enjoyed suffering. They did it to sharpen the blade of resilience. They trained their bodies to obey, not to dictate. They understood a principle most ignore today: pain is not the enemy, pain is the teacher. Pain reveals your limits, and then it dares you to break them. Think of how many people avoid pain at all costs. They refuse the workout because it burns. They avoid discipline because it feels restrictive. They numb themselves with entertainment and comfort food, all while wondering why they lack energy, confidence, and strength. But the truth is written in every cell of your being. Growth is born in discomfort. Muscles tear so they can grow. Lungs burn so they can expand. The body resists so the spirit can harden. To avoid this process is to avoid your own potential. And the price you pay for that avoidance is far greater than the temporary sting of discomfort. It is the permanent weight of regret. There is an unspoken dignity in pushing the body beyond its excuses. When you willingly embrace discomfort, you send a message to yourself: I am in command. Each time you push past exhaustion, each time you step into the cold, each time you reject the easy path, you carve strength into your very being. You may not see it instantly in the mirror, but you will feel it in the way you carry yourself, the way you stand taller, the way your mind sharpens under pressure. And when real adversity arrives, and it will arrive, you will not shatter like glass, because you have already trained for storms. Your body is not just flesh and bone, it is the vessel through which your mind and heart express themselves. If the vessel is weak, the contents will be compromised. But if the vessel is strong, your spirit has a foundation unshakable by hardship. This is why discipline in the body is sacred. It is not about vanity. It is not about showing the world your strength. It is about proving to yourself that you can endure. It is about building a temple of resilience where your willpower resides. Most people run from the weight of discipline because it feels heavy. But here is the paradox. The weight of discipline is light compared to the crushing weight of regret. One is temporary, the other is permanent. One demands sweat, the other drains your soul. And so the choice is simple. Endure the momentary sting of discipline, or live forever in the quiet suffering of weakness. The Stoics never entertained this debate. They chose hardship because they knew hardship forged freedom. Ask yourself honestly, how often do you step willingly into discomfort? Do you challenge your body daily, or do you let it grow lazy and fragile? Do you endure pain with dignity, or do you escape into comfort at the first sign of struggle? The answers reveal whether you are building yourself or slowly destroying yourself. There is no neutral ground. Every choice you make is either sharpening you or dulling you. The body does not lie. It reflects your habits, your choices, your relationship with discipline. And though others may judge you by appearance, the true battle is invisible. It is in the unseen moments. When you push through another repetition, when you run the extra mile, when you hold the fast for one more hour, these invisible victories accumulate into an unshakable spirit. That is the reward discipline gives. That is why the Stoics honored the body not for pleasure, but for power. You may never control what life throws at you, but you can always control how prepared you are to face it. Train your body not for perfection, but for resilience. Embrace discomfort, not as punishment, but as preparation. Remember that the stronger your body becomes, the less the storms of life can bend you. And when you reach the point where pain no longer frightens you, when fatigue no longer dictates you, when comfort no longer tempts you, you will discover a freedom few ever taste. The freedom of knowing nothing outside of you can break what you have built within. Would you like me to continue with the final section about rebuilding the heart, written with the same depth and intensity? A strong mind and a disciplined body mean little if the heart is unprepared for the hardest truth of all. That everything you love will one day be taken from you. This reality is not meant to crush you. It is meant to awaken you. Most people live as if the people they care about will be there forever, as if time owes them tomorrow. But the Stoics knew better. They faced the certainty of loss with open eyes, because only by accepting impermanence can you truly love without fear. The harsh truth is that attachment is the root of suffering. When you cling, you live in constant dread of losing. When you possess, you live in constant fear of being robbed. And yet when you embrace gratitude over ownership, when you learn to hold everything lightly, you discover a deeper form of love, one rooted not in control but in freedom. Think about it. Every person in your life is borrowed, not owned. Every moment you share is a gift, not a guarantee. The heart that refuses this truth will always be broken by it, but the heart that accepts it becomes unshakable. The Stoics did not love less because of impermanence. They loved more. They cherished every embrace, every sunrise, every fleeting connection, because they understood that nothing is promised. This is what made their hearts strong, not weak. Strength is not found in denying loss. It is found in loving fully, knowing loss is inevitable. When you rebuild your heart in this way, love stops being a chain and becomes a source of power. You stop trying to control others, and instead you focus on how deeply you can give. You stop living in fear of endings, and instead you live in gratitude for beginnings. The energy once wasted on clinging transforms into fuel for kindness, courage, and presence. Suddenly you are not crushed by loss, because you never lived under the illusion of permanence. You are free to love boldly, because you are no longer enslaved by the fear of letting go. Most people avoid this truth. They run from the reality of death, of separation, of endings. But running from truth never saves you. It only makes the inevitable hit harder. By pretending that people and moments will last forever, you set yourself up for devastation. The Stoics remind us to face this reality daily, not to be morbid, but to live awake, to kiss your loved ones with the awareness that it could be the last, to speak kindness as if it might be the final time, to live in such a way that no word of love goes unspoken, no act of courage goes undone. This is not weakness, it is ultimate strength. Your heart was not built to avoid pain. It was built to transform pain into wisdom, compassion, and depth. Every heartbreak, every loss, every goodbye carries the potential to break you or to rebuild you. The choice is yours. If you resist and cling, you will shatter. But if you embrace and accept, you will grow. You will discover a resilience that cannot be shaken by death, betrayal, or disappointment. This resilience does not come from coldness. It comes from presence, from learning to love without expecting forever, from learning to give without needing to control, from learning to appreciate without needing to possess. Ask yourself now, do you love with fear or with freedom? Do you hold tightly out of insecurity, or do you hold lightly out of gratitude? Do you avoid love because you fear the pain of loss, or do you dive fully into it, knowing pain is the price of a meaningful life? These questions reveal the state of your heart, and if the answers unsettle you, that is good. It means your heart is waking up. It means there is work to do. Rebuilding the heart is not about hardening it. It is not about closing yourself off to avoid pain. That is not strength. That is cowardice disguised as toughness. True strength of the heart is the ability to stay open, even when the world gives you reasons to close. It is the courage to love fully, to give deeply, to care without guarantees. It is the willingness to feel loss without being destroyed by it. That is the kind of heart the Stoics built, and it is the kind of heart you are capable of building. And here lies the final truth. Everything you love is temporary, but that does not make it meaningless. It makes it priceless. The fleeting nature of life is not a curse. It is the very reason life matters. The limited time we have with people is not a tragedy. It is what gives weight to every smile, every word, every moment of connection. When you live with this awareness, your love becomes fearless. Your heart becomes unbreakable, not because it avoids pain, but because it transforms pain into power. The mind gives you clarity. The body gives you resilience. But it is the heart, trained to accept impermanence, to love without fear, to give without chains, that gives you purpose. And when these three align, you become something unstoppable. You become someone who cannot be broken by loss, distracted by fear, or defeated by hardship. You become the kind of person the world cannot ignore, because you carry within you the rarest kind of strength, a soul that has mastered itself. Would you like me to now weave all 3 sections into a single complete script that flows seamlessly as one continuous piece for your video? Strength of mind, discipline of body, and resilience of heart all come together for one final test, the way you live each day. Because what use is clarity if you waste it on distraction? What use is discipline if you bury it in routine without purpose? What use is love if you withhold it until tomorrow, believing tomorrow will always come? The true measure of transformation is not found in theories or intentions. It is found in how you choose to live right now. Every sunrise is an invitation. Every breath is an opportunity. Every moment is a chance to step into the person you were meant to become. Yet most people let life slip through their fingers, waiting for the perfect time that never arrives. The harsh truth is this: you are not owed another day. Every delay is a gamble, and one day the dice will fall against you. The Stoics understood the urgency of living. They spoke often of memento mori, remembering death, not to terrify but to awaken. Death is not a distant possibility, it is a certainty woven into the fabric of life. And when you accept that, procrastination loses its grip. You no longer wait to become disciplined tomorrow. You no longer postpone love until it feels safer. You no longer waste your energy chasing approval or clinging to comfort. Instead, you live as though each day is your last chance to prove your courage, to honor your values, to embody the strength you've been training for. Think about how differently you would live if you truly embrace this. Would you waste hours numbing yourself with distractions? Would you let fear stop you from speaking your truth? Would you avoid challenges because they felt uncomfortable? Or would you rise with urgency, seize your time, and pour your energy into what truly matters? The reality is that most people live half asleep, treating life as a rehearsal for some future act. But this is not rehearsal. This is the performance. And the curtain could fall at any moment. Living with urgency does not mean rushing blindly. It means living deliberately, choosing each action with awareness. It means stripping away what is trivial and doubling down on what strengthens you. The Stoics measured wealth not in gold, but in time. Because time is the only currency you can never replace. Each hour you spend in distraction is an hour stolen from your destiny. Each day you live without purpose is a day buried in the graveyard of wasted potential. That is why urgency is sacred. It transforms every breath into a chance to align with your highest self. There is a freedom that comes when you stop waiting for the perfect moment. When you decide that now, not tomorrow, not someday, is the moment to change, the moment to act, the moment to step into your power. Suddenly, fear loses its hold, because fear thrives on hesitation. Comfort loses its grip, because comfort thrives on delay. The life you want does not wait for you. It will pass by unless you rise to claim it. And the only way to claim it is with decisive action, taken now in the present before the chance disappears. Ask yourself, what are you still postponing? What dreams are gathering dust because you keep telling yourself you'll start later? What relationships are starving because you assume they'll always be there tomorrow? What strength within you remains dormant because you've convinced yourself you're not ready yet? The truth is brutal but freeing. You are running out of time, but within that truth lies the fire you need. Because once you accept that your days are limited, every second gains value. Every decision carries weight. Every act of courage becomes urgent. Do not waste this gift of awareness. Let it ignite you. Let it push you to strip away excuses, to abandon the comfort of delay, to walk into the challenge you've been avoiding. Your mind is strong enough. Your body is capable enough. Your heart is resilient enough. The only missing piece is your decision. The decision to live now, fully, with nothing held back. That decision is the bridge between potential and reality, between dreams and destiny, between the life you imagine and the life you actually live. When you embrace this way of living, something incredible happens. You stop fearing the end because you are no longer leaving your days unlived. You stop craving more time because you are finally honoring the time you already have. You stop drifting because each moment becomes deliberate. This is the ultimate Stoic reward, not just survival, not just endurance, but a life fully lived, a life where every day counts, every action matters, and every breath reminds you of your strength.